Well, welcome to the family table. It's been a while since we've recorded a cooking show, and I'm terribly excited about it. And I think that you're really going to enjoy this series of shows. We're going to talk more about making memories and what it's like to have a family table and some of the benefits of a family table, and we're going to cover all that as the weeks go by. And we're going to talk about a few nutritional facts about food and how to make it fun and how to make it economical. And really the main focus is to just bring cooking back into the home. I think that we are so busy these days and there's so much going on that we don't take time to do things at home and to gather around the table and have that little bit of family time, which is so important. So we're just going to have a great time. Today we're going to do some interesting things. We're going to be working with avocados. And avocado, as you know, a lot of people think it's a vegetable, but it's not. It's a fruit. And we could define fruits and vegetables one day, but basically, you know, fruits are things that's got like a seed on the inside, and then it's got this flesh wrapped around it that gives the seed its nutrition. So that's exactly what an avocado is. An interesting thing is that tomatoes are also a fruit, but back years ago, 100 years ago, I don't know how many, that Dr. Brent keeps up with all the historical dates, but years ago, there was no taxes on fruit, but there was taxes on vegetables, and so it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided to call tomatoes a vegetable and not a fruit. So it gets complicated sometimes, especially when it comes to taxation, I guess. So today we're going to do avocado egg rolls, and they're very tasty and they're very pretty, and I think you'll enjoy those. We're going to do a dipping sauce that goes with those that can be used for other things as well, and it keeps for 2 or 3 weeks in the refrigerator, so you don't have to worry about that going bad on you. And then we're going to do fried ice cream, and I've got some of that started. We're going to get to that in our last segment, but right now we're going to get started on our egg roll itself. And so today what we're going to do is start with 1 avocado. I've got a handy dandy little tool here that my friend Ginger Taylor gave me, and it kind of slices the egg roll, and it comes out, you know, in even slices, but you can use a knife just the same. If they're hard, they're usually green, and I'll be honest with you, these are just a little bit on the green side, but so many times I get my avocados and they've already started to turn black on the inside, so I try to get them a little bit green. If you're not going to use them for a few days, you can put them in the refrigerator, and that'll slow down the ripening process. Or if you're going to use them right away, you can put them in a bag, you know, like a lunch bag, a paper bag with an apple, and it will hasten the ripening of the avocado, and you could use it like the next day. Always try to bring them up to room temperature. If you've had them in the refrigerator, it makes them easier to slice. And so we're going to see what this one's like. It's always interesting to see what kind of avocado you've got. And you can tell it's a little bit green because usually that would just pop right open. But it's pretty and green. It hasn't started turning black. If they're ripe enough, you can just whack it with your knife and give it a turn, and the pit will come right out, which makes it pretty easy. Now, it's not too good for the garbage disposal, so really try to get that out before you turn it on, because I have experienced that before. This is the handy dandy, kind of goes in there, and you push it down to the bottom of the peel, and you just bring it back towards you, and slices will come out. And it makes it very nice. And try not to disrupt these slices, kind of keep them whole, because when we put them in our egg rolls, they're going to look good when we slice them up. So that's what the little slices look like that come out. So that's pretty neat. Otherwise, you can just take your knife and you can just go down the avocado down to the skin, and you can kind of feel the skin and slice it up. But then you have to peel it, okay? And when they're a little bit green, it makes it a little bit more difficult to peel. So you can see it was easier with our little handy dandy slicer, but if you don't have one, that's no big deal either. I've discovered through life that you can usually be creative and get by with just what you have in the kitchen. So let's get these all sliced up. And see, this is a little bit thicker. It was a lot more even when I did it with the little slicer. Now if these were riper, they would be easier for this peel to come off. But like I say, it looks prettier if it doesn't have the dark spots. Now the dark spots are not going to hurt you, but everybody likes for their presentation to look pretty, and you don't want it to look like it's, you know, that it's overripe. So there is our avocado. We're just going to leave that right there in the bowl. This is some sun-dried tomatoes, and for this recipe you really need some that are kind of soft, and I was not able to find any at our local stores that were packed in oil. So what I did is I brought these home and chopped them up and put them in some oil, some olive oil, and I heated them in the microwave for about 2 minutes, and then I put them in a plastic bag and covered them and put them in the refrigerator, and it softened them up. So we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of sun-dried tomatoes, and we're just going to give those a chop. It's important about your knife too, when you're doing this chopping and stuff, just to make it easier on yourself. You really need a knife that's got an offset handle, because if you don't have an offset handle and you start trying to do this chopping, you keep hitting your knuckles on the cutting board and you really can't chop very well. So look for one with an offset handle, and you know, this is about 1 inch offset and it really works nicely. I've got some that's a little less than 1 inch and I don't like them as well. Okay, we're going to move on now. And we're going to put a little bit of cilantro in here. And I always keep my stuff washed, and when we get through doing this today, I'll put that cilantro in the refrigerator in that water, and it'll keep for also about a week. Try not to get the water up on the leaves because it'll cause them to kind of start, you know, turning brown. But if it's just on the stems, it won't do that. Okay? And we're going to put just a pinch of salt in here. Okay? And we're going to mix this up. And this is really the base of it. We're going to add just a little bit of onion. Let's see if we can get this with everything tumbling off. Peel it back till we get this enough. My onions lately have been being a little bit too ripe around the edges. So since we're not going to be blending this, try to make your slices, you know, small. So the smaller your little sections are cut into, the smaller your onion will be when you get through slicing it. Just take that piece out. And then we're going to make little tiny slices here because you don't want to have big chunks of onion in there. So we've got onion, sun-dried tomatoes, cilantro, and avocado. And that's the mixture that's going to go into our egg rolls. So we're going to get all this out of our way. And we're going to wrap our egg rolls. When we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to wrap them up. We're going to stick those in the refrigerator for a few minutes while we make our dipping sauce, and we're going to get on with this wonderful meal. See you in a minute.